Brodes Media.
Where is Jalen Hurts? Who is Nick Sirianni? What are the expectations for Jonathan Gannon? And then bang, we get hit with James Bradberry has been signed to a one-year deal by the Philadelphia Eagles, and that is just fantastic. That was a massive hole in the roster, and I know that there's been a lot of controversy around some of the moves that Howie Roseman made, but you got to look at the full body of work. There's so much time to make these additions. For example, early on in the offseason process, there were a lot of Eagles fans bothered because he didn't do enough. And I said, hold on a second. We're not even at the draft yet. You're complaining that the Eagles didn't get better yet, and they're not even at the draft? Just relax. Give it some time. And when the Calvin Ridley news fell through, there was more disappointment in that area. And I know Howie's a very vocal one on this too, when you look at previous moves that he made deep into the offseason process. For example, one that comes to my mind instantly is a Ronald Darby. Think about when they acquired Jay Ajayi during that Super Bowl run. And that was clearly even on the later side, but you get my point, which is you can't fully assess what you did or what you didn't do until everything is all done, all the teams do what they did, and then you say, okay, was it enough? And when we recognize how much of a disaster the defense was last season, and now you have three real players, well, Hassan Reddick is an interesting cat for sure, but you think of Nakobe Dean that you landed in the third round of the draft. You sign White to a nice how do you do there, considering your alternatives in the years past have been abysmal. You get a nice player in White, and you got Hassan Reddick, which brings you some versatility into the mix for Jonathan Gannon. There is no damn excuse. But real quickly, getting back to Howie Roseman, I always stress that he's not dumb. They're not stupid as a front office. Quite frankly, there's a reason why organizations are consistently plucking from the Eagles' tree nonstop. They see that there's nobody on the opposite of Darius Slay. They are fully aware of that. You can't put in Zach McPherson. You can't move Avonte Maddox to the outside. The dude gets exposed due to his lack of size, and that's not where he plays his best ball. So they are going to do something about it. Just breathe. I'm already hearing that, well, really, how did Howie expect this to happen? He got lucky. He got lucky with the timing of what the New York Giants did. Lucky? How come that word always gets thrown around for him? And if that's the case, then every GM is lucky because no one ever knows what squads are going to do. No one's ever aware of when players are going to get released and when they're going to get moved from team to team. Sure, timing is part of everything, but every GM deals with timing. You can't say this guy is just getting lucky nonstop, because if he's just getting lucky every single damn time he makes nice moves, well then guess what? There's something to him just making nice moves, and you have to get rid of this nonsense that Howie Roseman is clueless, because unfortunately for the dopes out there that doesn't believe that he actually has a set of ideas and beliefs that make sense, he's good at his job. He has generated success. He knows what he's doing. And this is an A-plus offseason from Jordan Davis to Cam Jurgens. Look at this defense, by the way. I know Cam Jurgens is supposed to be the future at center, and who knows, maybe we see some guard play out of him at some point, but all around, look what you did to linebackers. Look what you have in Slay and Bradberry as your combo. Here's one thing, though, that's going to be interesting from a Jonathan Gannon perspective. I love Darius Slay playing press. I want him to be in the face of receivers and making it difficult for them when you talk about the line of scrimmage. And I don't want to see a 90% completion percentage, 85% completion percentage. Yo, Jonathan, you have the pieces now. We gave you the benefit of the doubt because of how awful a lot of these defenders were on that side of the football last year. Well, that's different. You got players, you got ballers. But looking at schematically how Bradberry and Darius Slay work, Bradberry's significantly better in the zone, and Darius Slay, I would like for him to play some press coverage. So when you're Jonathan Gannon, you got to push the right buttons here and make things interesting. You're also going to be a lot heavier and a lot juicier up front on the defensive line to get to the quarterback to force them to be in a position with a little bit more thinking involved. And the more you think when you're in the pocket or scrambling outside of the pocket, sometimes that will result in some turnovers. And Bradberry can definitely pick the football off. If Darius Slay is going to perform the way he did last year, you might see a damn pick six involved. All around, I'm super stoked. And before some of these moves were made, I wondered, where am I? Am I in the same exact ballpark emotionally as I was last year with a quarterback that I'm unsure if him getting better is going to be to the point that satisfies me? I know Jalen Hurts is going to improve. A lot of the pieces around Jalen Hurts improved, so just naturally, just based off of that, he's going to be better. Now, apply his work ethic, apply his determination, and apply the way that he feels about the game of football, and then, yeah, it's going to be better at it, Jalen Hurts. I do believe that. I really do deep down. But now that all the other surrounding pieces have improved too, what can you do as a squad? What can you do as an all-around team? With the Jalen Hurts that didn't satisfy a lot last season, you won 9 football games. You got blown out. And trust me, getting blown out in the first round of the playoffs there is not the destination that they envisioned. But that's why you see Howie Roseman make the moves that he made. All around. And Brandon Graham is another guy that isn't really being discussed that much. How much does he have in the tank? It's a great question. He's up there in age, and he went through a pretty gruesome injury. But if there was someone who would return with a certain demeanor about him, with like a screw you attitude, I have more, and I'll show you that, a hungry mentality, it's Brandon Graham. So I'm not going to put the world on his shoulders in terms of what he'll do, but that's a game changer for a defensive front that already added a Jordan Davis into the mix. You have Nakobe Dean. You have a nice slate of guys there that you can definitely do some damage with. And I was wondering, before they made this signing of James Bradberry, did they feel if they couldn't land someone, even though they recognized that there was a hole there, I wondered if they felt they can get enough pressure up front to live with a McPherson. Now, that would have been a disaster, and I would have ripped Howie Roseman if that was the case. If they did go into the season with that type of message, I would have been bothered by it. But I know they're not stupid. I know they need to make additions, and then eventually that panned out, and it's exactly why we're sitting here today with a ton of excitement. So I'm not stunned. Quite frankly, I would have been stunned if they went in that direction, but I wondered, was there something to it? Now, you could have some deadly weapons in the cornerback position on both sides. And Avonte might get picked on a bit, or at least attempted to get picked on a bit. If your biggest fear, and I saw this on Reuben Frank's takeaways of the signing and what it means for this team. If your biggest question mark is Marcus Epps going to be able to play a full-time safety role? And guess what? That's not the worst question to have as your most important question of your roster. Every team is going to have a question mark somewhere within their roster, whether it's, is their offensive line going to keep their quarterback safe? The Eagles don't got to worry about that. What's your defensive line like? Right now, I don't expect to have that question on, can this defensive front ever make any sort of juice to the quarterback? Can they get to the quarterback? And you could talk about sacks numbers all you want, because I know that there's a disappointment in the overall total number of sacks at times, because Brandon Graham isn't a big sack guy, but he definitely makes the quarterback hurry and get him into a position where he's not feeling great. Jordan Davis stuffing the run. Might not get to the quarterback, but if you have multiple double teams looking in his direction, that opens up the floodgates for somebody else to expose a one-on-one matchup and then do their job. But I don't know how this team is going to get run on. I think that's going to be a phenomenal part of their defense. It just comes down to, is Jonathan Gannon going to be a buffoon, and is he going to be stupid and allow guys nonstop to sit back and then dunk and dive in 10 yards, 8 yards, 7 yards, 6 yards, because he doesn't want to get beat over the top with a two-safety look or something along those lines where you got safeties back and a ton of space and a ton of room. It's time to put that in the past. All right, I gave you the benefit of the doubt that maybe you felt so insecure about the garbage that was on your team, but now it's go mode. I want to see aggressiveness. I want to see some versatility. I want to see some creativeness. You're already somehow spoken about in league circles as a head coach caliber dude. Show me that. All right, show me that, because Jonathan Gannon sucked last year. He actually sucked. And you can separate the two behind not having the most lethal talent in the world and then philosophy. And he sucked last year. I don't want to hear, well, his numbers, this and that. He sucked. Fooled, outcoached, nonstop. When you talk about the historic rates of what teams were doing to the Philadelphia Eagles, it's unacceptable no matter what type of trash cans you have on the field. Now there is zero excuse. Show us your worth is what I'm trying to get out. Now, deep down, do I feel Gannon has more than what he put on display last year? Yes, because he wouldn't be discussed the way that he has been in league circles if that was the case. I'm going off of the NFL world viewing him a certain way. There's got to be something to it. And I doubt it's more than just, well, he's a leader. No, there's got to be more than that. Not that that's even something that I've heard to an insane degree. But to be honest with you, what I saw out of last year was so disappointing and so deflating. You hear the signing on how amazing this guy's going to be. I just felt like I got punched in the nuts every Sunday watching that garbage. It shouldn't be that way anymore. You got linebackers. I don't love the safeties. I do not love the safeties. I think Anthony Harris is just a guy. And to put it in perspective, Steven Nelson last year, he was just a guy. He got picked on at times, and then at times he was average. He's average as average can be. And some positions are going to have average. You're not going to have elite in every single area. So if you have average and Anthony Harris, can you live with that? Maybe you can live with that in your secondary for right now. But I wonder, is Howie Roseman done? Is Howie Roseman going to make another signing and possibly look in that safety department? I would not be shocked.